My maid of honor whispered, "Don't walk out there." My family had a mic, a letter, and a replacement groom in row 3. What they didn't know, I'd already built the case. I'm a litigation paralegal. 10 minutes before I walked down the aisle, my maid of honor looked at me and said 3 words. "Don't go out there." I peeked through the door. My father was standing at the altar holding a microphone. My mother stood beside him with a letter. My sister was behind them, phone up, red recording dot already on. I kept walking. 6 days earlier, my best friend Rachel called at 11 p.m. She sat on my kitchen floor, phone face down like she wasn't sure she should show me. Then she turned it over. A screenshot from the wrong group chat. Carol Whitmore texting my mother. "Is everything ready for Saturday? Derek is nervous." I told him once the intervention works, Donna will come around. The $40,000 was worth every penny. I read it 3 times. My mother had accepted $40,000 from another woman's family to stop my wedding. She'd offered me $20,000 toward the venue. Told me she'd been saving for years. I'd almost cried. I'd apologized for being distant. That money was never hers. Not a single dollar. Marcus walked through my door 14 minutes after I called. He sat on the floor next to me. He read the screenshots. He set the phone down. "We're not canceling this wedding. I'm a litigation paralegal. I compile evidence for a living. I'd done it 1,000 times for strangers. Now I do it once for myself." Rachel pulled Venmo records from Carol Whitmore's partially public history. 2 transfers to Janet Ainsworth. $25,000 in March. $15,000 in August. Both labeled the same way. Wedding arrangement. We printed everything. The screenshots. The transactions. 2 guest lists side by side. My 170 names versus my mother's 200. With 30 additions, all connected to Carol Whitmore's circle, including Derek Whitmore. Row 3. Seat 7. Rachel sealed it in a manila envelope. I called Reverend Patricia Miles. I told her the ceremony might be interrupted. She said, "I'll wait, and when it's finished, I'll continue." I stood at the back of the aisle with the clutch bag pressed against my side. Marcus was at the altar in his charcoal suit, hands clasped, that quiet smile that lives in his eyes. My father was not there to walk me in. He was on the platform, holding a microphone. I kept walking. My mother cut off the Reverend mid-sentence. "Before this goes any further, there is something everyone needs to hear." 200 people froze. She took the microphone. She faced the crowd. She read her letter. "Marcus has no savings, no family property. He cannot give you the life you deserve." Then she pointed toward row 3. "Derek is waiting. We can still fix this, Donna." 200 heads turned at once. Derek Whitmore sat perfectly still, head down, hands in his lap, the face of a man who wanted to be anywhere else on earth. I squeezed Marcus's hand. He gave me a nod so small no one else could see it. I turned to Rachel. She was already stepping forward. I pulled out the manila envelope. "May I have the microphone, please?" My father handed it over without hesitation. The relief on his face was visible from the back row. I spoke the way I speak in deposition prep. Clear, unhurried, precise. I held up the Venmo records. March 15th of last year. Carol Whitmore transferred $25,000 to Janet Ainsworth. The memo reads, "Wedding arrangement." A murmur moved through the crowd. August 22nd, another $15,000. Same sender, same recipient, same memo. I lowered the page. That's $40,000 from Carol Whitmore, whose son is sitting right there in row 3. 200 heads turned again. Derek sank lower in his chair. My mother accepted $40,000 from another family to arrange my marriage to a man I never agreed to marry. Someone in the crowd said it out loud. Not a whisper. A statement. She took the money. My mother's composure cracked from the center outward. "That's not, you don't understand. Carol was helping us." Her voice pitched upward. She gripped the railing. Her eyes swept 200 faces searching for an ally. She found none. My father stepped off the platform. He walked past the first row, past the second, past the third. He kept walking until he reached the last row. Then he sat down alone. Derek stood up. He stepped into the aisle without looking at anyone. Carol reached out as he passed. "Derek, sit down." "No, Mom. Quiet. Final. This is done." He walked through the garden gate. Row 3, seat 7 sat empty. The white cushion still held the shape of a man who had just realized he'd been purchased. I set the documents on the podium. I looked out at 200 people. Does anyone else have something they'd like to say? Or can I get married now? Reverend Patricia Miles stepped to the podium and opened her book. "Shall we begin?" Full story on channel. Link below.